This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by a sponsor, like always. It is, however, a collaboration with the brand new podcast, An Unkindness of Ravens, a One Tree Hill podcast. Go and support the guys now on Spotify and on Instagram. Go give the show a listen, you'll love it. And if you don't, by the end of this episode, you surely will. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And this week, guys, we're doing something a little bit different. Well, not entirely. We're going to do some listen talk about movies as we normally do. But this is a bit of a cross promotion. A friend of mine who you'll be pretty familiar with has got a brand new podcast. And I wanted to be the first one there. I kind of want to do the exclusive. So today we're going to talk to him and his new co-host all about their show and celebrate it. Because I think whenever someone starts something new, we want to get the word out and just encourage. That's what it's all about. And if you listen to this, you know how much I'm a fan of movies and TV. And when we are fans, eventually we will get a podcast, I think. So today we're going to talk about the brand new podcast, An Unkindness of Ravens, a One Tree Hill podcast. They corrected me right before the show. Brought to you by my very good friend, Michael Siri, and his co-host, Kayla. So guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And might I say, what a wonderful introduction as usual.
Thank you. We're just
very professional.
I was like, well, I can't, like, the listeners won't know this because I never put video up. I don't look at the camera. So, like, I'm sure you guys put, like, or Michael's used to, but Kayla's probably like, why is he not looking at this? He's just like, I just have to, like, script it in my mind. As always, all improv. But lovely to have you both here. Michael, obviously, you're pretty regular at this point. You've done quite a few episodes. My listeners are quite familiar with you and all the joy you bring to my show. So it's wonderful to have you back. But Kayla, it's our first time meeting, so welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good.
That was the most difficult question I will ask for the day, so it's gonna be all rainbows from here.
Okay.
So congratulations, guys. I know the first episode's already dropped, which is very, very cool. When I say drops, that's industry talk, of course. And listeners might be familiar with this because I remember about a year ago, Michael, I think you were talking about like, I'd really like to get a One Tree Hill podcast going. And I know, like, I think you're in the middle of a hiatus at the time. So it's one of those things where you're like, you don't want to have too many things on your plate, but I could tell how passionate you were. So it's really exciting for me as not only a friend of yours, but also a fan of what you do to see it finally come to fruition. So I want to get to know Kayla a little bit as well. But how did this initially come together? I guess the two of you can kind of tell me what happened there.
Do you want me to go first, Kayla?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, as you guys both know, as most people know now, I'm a super huge diehard fan of One Tree Hill. The first time I watched it was like back in 2012, coincidentally, right as the show ended after its 9th season was in 2012. And that's when I actually started watching it. And I was hooked. I was obsessed with it. I've seen it probably 14, 15 times. I'm going to say 14 because I'm pretty sure that's where I am. Which is insane if you think about it, I know. But
I've done that with The Office. I think everyone has that one show where it's like it's the background noise, it's the thing that soothes you to sleep. We all have that one comfort show. And it's rare for us to talk about TV, so I'm excited. And I've interrupted you, so please go on.
Oh no, you're good. No, I was gonna also say I love The Office. So yeah, so I've kind of actually had this idea for a while. And then I really got really inspired after Sylvia Bush, Hillary Burton, and Bethany Joy Lenz released their podcast called Drama Queens, where they played Haley, Peyton, and Brooke on One Tree Hill, and they just started their own podcast where they go episode by episode, season by season, and they kind of just go through and kind of give us more of like a behind the scenes kind of look of how certain things happened. So it kind of got me thinking that I wanted to start one. I just didn't know when I wanted to start it or who I wanted to start it with. And I initially had gone to like my best friend that I've known for like 15 years, and she kind of turned me on to One Tree Hill, which was why she was my first like initial like, oh my gosh, I want to do this with you. And she's like, I don't have time for that. She's not a podcast person. She listens to them, but she doesn't want to be like, and she's been on some of my episodes. You're probably familiar with her if you listen to our Misery episode. She's the one that's on that episode with me, James,
Oh,
and
I don't
Kayla.
think I don't think I have. I don't think I knew you'd done a Misery episode, but I love Misery. So
Yeah.
shame on me. I got to get onto that and give it a listen.
We'll
I
have to
do
go
a me
watch that one now or listen to it.
Well, we do have that episode up on YouTube streaming
Oh,
actually. So you can
really?
watch
Cool.
that one. Yeah.
It's a double plug.
Yeah,
I
I
love
do
it.
a mean Kathy Bates impression as well. So
Well, don't hide it. You got to do it now. You always do impressions
oh
on the show.
no, not right now. No.
But you're so good with your impressions.
I know,
Oh, I
but
like Kayla already.
yeah, but I don't know. I really wanted to do this podcast. I just didn't know when I wanted to because at the time when I first initially decided I wanted to, at some point I was still very, very much involved with We Love Horror. And at the time I wasn't really looking to start any other podcast just because like my schedule didn't really allow for it. And so it kind of just stayed on the back burner for a while. And then me and Kayla recently started getting close like over the past year. And after talking to Kayla and getting to know her and knowing her like on a deeper level, I was just like, Kayla, what literally one day out of the blue, and Kayla can attest to this. We had just finished, I think, doing like a really long Zoom, like a phone call on Instagram. We just kind of like you and I did the other day, James. We just kind of talked and chatted. And afterward, I don't remember if it was the next day or the same day. I think I called you the next day and was like, Kayla, so I've been wanting to do this podcast for a while. Do you want to do it? And it was just very like out of the blue. And I would have totally understood if Kayla was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not, like, you're putting me under pressure by asking me that. But no, Kayla was immediately like, yeah. So she was
Yeah, lucky
game.
for you, I've been wanting to start a podcast for a while. Like my mom and I were supposed to start one, but a lot of life events have happened, so we haven't gotten around to that. And it was just supposed to be like a as we want to kind of thing. So when you asked, I was like, yes, finally, something to do that's going to be fun.
Nice.
Yes. And in fact, it is lucky for me because Kayla is fantastic. Like,
She really is. I've just sorry to jump in there, but I have listened to the first episode, Michael. You were kind enough to give me early access. I
oh
think
yeah,
by the time
Kayla, I forgot to tell you that.
It's
I
okay.
I did get,
I think by the
he did some what I don't remember what you did. You did something for me and I was like, here's another, here's for you. I don't remember what it was, but
I can't remember. I don't know.
I think it was like a small favor or something. So I was like, here, I'm gonna return the favor to you, and you get like I completely forgot to tell Kayla that. I'm sorry, Kayla. I
How could you?
apologize. I know, I'm so bad.
I can't remember. But
Yeah.
that's not the fun. I would have done all of this for, I would have waited just like everyone else, but you very kind of gave me access. By the time I finished listening to it, I think everyone else had listened to it as well because it's been a hectic week. But I think, Kayla, listening to you, having not been familiar at all, your role is so unique and interesting in the podcast because basically, and I hope I'm not giving it away too soon, but you have very much like a sensei pupil relationship in this podcast, which I really like.
Yeah.
Michael coming in as the expert, having watched it so many times, and this is your first time watching. You're watching it basically blind. Is that right, Kayla?
Yes, I have very limited memories of one of my friends who I'd walk in when I was like in middle school, high school, and she'd be watching it, but I never sat down and watched full episodes. I just see little clips, so I really don't know anything about the show outside of what I've just watched for what we're
Me,
doing.
me either. Michael has been trying to get me to watch the show for at least a year now, and I keep putting it off. And it's not because I don't appreciate the recommendation. I'm just an insane person. I just have so much on, and I always prioritize the wrong thing. So I will get there and listen to you guys talk about it. What I liked about it, first of all, was I don't think you need to be a fan of the show for the show to work because I was sitting there just listening to you guys talk, and I was like, this is great. And Michael, we talked about this before. Like, if a podcast is good, if the hosts are good, it doesn't matter what the content is. Like, you just want to be a part of that conversation. And I was really enraptured to see. Like, I was washing my dishes. I was like, I had to like rewind it back. What did they say? Go do it again. So I
Yeah.
think you guys really shine together, which is really cool as well. Especially on first episode. Like, first episode can be wobbly. Go back to my first episode, and it is very wobbly. But I think you guys did a really good job. And yeah, as someone who's not a viewer of the show at all, I would get it confused with Gossip Girl or like OC. Actually, not that's not true. I was a big
Oh
OC
no, you've
fan.
offended Michael.
I
Just
know. I
head
know.
shake.
We talked about it last week. That's why I said it. That's why I said it, Kayla. I'm getting under his skin already. I think it works really well. I do want to talk more about the show, but Kayla, as I said before we started recording, you're new to my audience, you're new to me. Tell us a bit about like where the fandom begins for you. Obviously, Michael's been a fan of horror films forever, and this is another side of him. I really like that we're getting to see a different layer of you, Michael, as a podcast host. Like we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years, you being the horror guy, and now you're like, I'm doing something complete opposite of horror. But what about you,
Yeah.
Kayla? Have you always been a movie and TV show fan? Is it something that was just kind of casual and it's become more of a hobby lately? Like, tell us where that begins.
Actually, I thought I was a huge horror fan, and then I met Michael, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen nearly as many movies as he's seen. I have always been a really big fan of movies, TV shows. My mom likes to bring it up, and it's so embarrassing, but like I would fixate on certain TV shows for the longest time, and I have for as long as I can remember, all the way back to being really young to being obsessed with like Gilligan's Island, Three's Company,
Yes.
Boy
Oh my
Meets World,
goodness.
and so on. And then I was really into like horror films, was watching them before I should have been watching them. And for the longest time, I wanted to go to film school. Couldn't afford it. So I had to settle for like a state school where I studied like communications with an emphasis in film. So I've always really, really loved television and film. And so it's been really nice to sit down and talk to someone and actually discuss something in depth.
Nice.
Yeah.
I first of all, full marks for mentioning Gilligan's Island. It's not referenced anywhere near enough. I think it's the first mention on this podcast, so shame on me, but well done you. And I 100% understand what you're talking about. Like that was the whole motivation behind my show. I was just like, yeah, I just want to talk to people about movies again. Like I just feel like that's something that's missing from my life. And like, if you haven't realized already, and I know you've got other online projects, I know you're just writing and stuff. We'll touch on that as well. But one thing that I really like about this community is, for the most part, it's overwhelmingly positive and supportive. I don't think I've had really any negative interactions with anyone. And so if you want to talk about movies, it seems like, despite what people tell you about the internet, it's actually a pretty safe place to do it, as long as you avoid the comment section. It's a pretty good place.
Yeah.
So going back to your love of movies, I obviously mentioned horror. Were you like a video store kid? Was it like regular trips to the cinema? Like where does that kind of passion begin for you?
Uh, oh goodness. I mean, I remember going to Blockbuster a lot with my
Mm-hmm.
family, and my mom and I, we would have, because my mom was like my best friend when I was a teenager and a kid, and so we'd have regular like mom-daughter days where we'd just go see a movie, typically a scary movie together.
Nice.
So I guess movie stores,
Yeah.
movie theaters, like
Yeah.
just the
No,
regular
Yeah.
thing.
because I know you're. I think you're my. If I remember from, because you talk about it in your episode, I think you're about the same age as Michael, which puts you guys a couple of years younger than me. So video store was a huge part of my life. You can't see it right now, but when I'm normally at Film Snob HQ back in Australia, like the whole wall behind me is just filled with Blu-rays. Like I'm a big movie
Oh.
collector and nuts. So I'm just trying to turn my life into a video store, basically. But I like hearing about people's experiences, and I like that. You said kind of, it was almost like sheepish, like, oh, my mum was a best friend, but like that's so important to me. I think having someone who's in your corner supporting that thing you love and taking you to do that, like I think the complete opposite would be so much more horrific. Like, you love this, well, I'm not interested, so sorry, we're not doing it. I
Yeah.
think you got a cool mum. Well, that sounds good.
She's pretty
Yeah.
cool. She's pretty all right.
Yeah. Nice one. So I guess the next thing I want to talk about is you guys meeting. So obviously, Michael, I've known you for quite a while. Did you meet Kayla kind of similar that you and I met? Like, how did that friendship begin? Like, and what's the path to the podcast? Because I imagine it's not just as simple as like, oh, we met one day and it was all that. Or was it? I don't know.
I mean, it kind of just was actually, I think. I don't remember who messaged who first, because like it's so weird. Like when you meet somebody and then you get to know them, sometimes you cannot remember how you first met. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are times when there's certain people in my life that I'm like, I don't remember how we met. We just started talking and the rest is history, you know? And so I think it was either Kayla or I that reached out to one of each other, because we've been following each other for a long time. I know that.
Yeah.
Um, and we kind of chatted back and forth here and there every now and then. And then, me and Kayla just kind of started talking more and more, mostly because of something else that she does, which I wanted her to kind of take the time to talk about as well.
We'll definitely jump into it right after this, I promise. I know that she
Yeah.
does this,
No,
so
you're good.
yeah,
You're
we're
good.
definitely going to go to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what also influenced my decision to ask her if she wanted to be a part of the hot podcast, because she's so good with words, and she's so I could tell that she definitely could kind of what's the word, see things past just kind of surface level, and she could really get into why she liked certain scenes, or why she felt like something stood out to her, instead of just being like, yeah, it was good, I liked that scene, it was good,
Oh,
it was all right,
that's the
you
worst
know.
thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And I'm not dogging on anybody that does that, because sometimes people just watch movies to enjoy them, and they get
How
something
dare
out from
they?
well, they get something from it that sometimes is just surface level, and that's
Mhm.
perfectly fine. But I think with the way the three of our minds work specifically,
Mm.
is we watch movies, and then sometimes we really over analyze things, or we see things that we're like, oh, that was really cool, that most people don't notice, I guess. So that's a long explanation of why I chose Kayla to be my
Mm.
co-host. But I mean, the simple version is just she's so good, she's very intellectual, she um knows how to carry a conversation, she knows how to, I mean, and you gave her the compliment earlier about how she's kind of the pupil and I'm
Mm.
the teacher kind of thing. But I mean, in the last episode that we just recorded a couple days ago, she was showing me up. Like
Nice.
she was noticing things in the second episode that I had never even thought of before. And I was like, wow, Kayla, you're really showing me up today.
I
I
feel like I
mean,
should
so
clarify, and by tutor and teacher and pupil, I meant more in terms of knowledge of One Tree Hill. Like
right.
that's
No,
all.
no, no.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, no,
cool.
I
Just
knew
Yeah.
exactly what you meant.
in
Yeah.
case people like that compliment he gave Kayla about how she's the first time podcast. I'm like, no, not at all. Like from episode one, like Kayla, you hold your own. Like you sound like you've been doing it for years. So
Oh,
She's
that's
I mean, Kayla's
good.
great. So
I've never been told I'm good with words, especially when speaking. So thank you, Michael.
you're welcome. I mean, I'm being 100% honest. Like,
mhm.
it's just really nice to co-host a podcast with somebody who I feel kind of sees things the way that I see things. I feel like me and Kayla are very similar in the way that we uh interpret certain things. Like, there were a lot of things that me and Kayla were both kind of like bouncing back and forth on, and I'm like, we have the same mind sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's nice to kind of have that rapport on a podcast together, because it makes it more fun. And regardless of whether she's seen the show the first time or she has seen it a million times like me, I feel like she is very great at picking up things that even I wouldn't have noticed, and I didn't notice, honestly. So yeah, it's been a huge blast to have Kayla on. So we're just going to be
Mhm.
hyping Kayla up this whole episode, and I'm here for it. I'm so
Little
here for
bit,
it.
little
Yeah.
bit. I will say the most clear observation. This might be a bit of a spoiler for the first episode, but it's been out for a week, guys. Like you should have listened to it by now. In fact, by the time this drops, it'll be out for a couple of weeks. One thing that's abundantly clear is that Kayla does not like Peyton. That's what I really got from the first episode. And that was, I think, my favorite part. Just kept coming back to it, which I found very amusing. So you've
Yeah.
been,
I
yeah. Sorry,
I
go on.
think I just felt, I mean, I wasn't like, she's obviously more outgoing and everything, and but I think anyone who went through, especially around our age, who went through that whole I'm different. You see it on
Yes,
TV and you're like, "Oh my
guilty.
God, I don't know. It's too close to home."
Yeah.
Gives you embarrassment.
It almost feels like a personal attack at some point. You're like, okay, I get it. That's great.
I'm like, "Oh yes." So I think that was my huge dislike, is I'm like,
I
well,
also sorry, go on.
I was like, this is too close. It's too close. In reality, I wasn't any different than anyone else. And it's what I see when I look at her, and I was just like, oh no.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Kayla, my roommate Alex, who's walking in right now, hi, he also is not a huge fan of Peyton right now. And I said, give it a few episodes. I think you'll warm up to her. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I mean, there is kind of a reasoning behind why Peyton is so like dark and dreary and broody. It definitely goes on to explain a lot more in future episodes, but no, like, if it makes you feel better, Kayla, Alex doesn't really care for her right now either. So
First episode
yeah.
was not the best for Peyton.
Yeah.
I also really liked, and I haven't watched the show, so you'll forgive me if I don't remember the characters' names. I want to say it was is Nathan, one of the leads. Is that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna give myself a point there.
There you
because
go.
I
Yeah.
honestly was like, it's probably something else. But I haven't got the moment right. It could actually not be that character. But I think it was something you said again, Kayla. Where you're like, I've met those people where like suddenly like and they're like, oh, what a classic song, but it was an emo song when we were in high school and they didn't listen to whatever. I was like, I feel so seen right now because I was very
Yeah.
much like that emo kid. Like I was into like all the heavier stuff, and I'm like, you don't like this. You never liked it. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
So I felt very seen. I really appreciated that as well.
I'm glad.
Yes.
Um, so Mike, you've been hyping Kayla up quite a bit, and rightly so. I want to take a little bit of a dive into your psyche for a second. Were you nervous? Were you
Okay.
worried that she was going to say no when you asked her? Like, obviously, you want to try this show for a while. Did you have backups? Are there Kayla 2.0s waiting in the ranks?
Well, I do have to explain kind of a story because, and I feel so guilty about this. I think James set this up for exactly that
No, I
reason.
did.
You
I
little,
know we're going to talk
you
about, but that's
little,
not.
you little
No,
rascal, you.
no, that's not what I'm
Um,
doing at all. We don't have to we can cut this. I was interested to know because you have talked her up so much, and like listening to that first episode, and even now listening to you speak, Kayla. For someone who says they've got have done a podcast before, like I wouldn't have believed it. I was just like, wow, it's
Yeah.
just so natural. And obviously, Mark, you do a great job leading podcasts. I've been on shows with you before, and like what I love about you as a host is you can be you can control an episode and you can keep things on target. But if you trust your guest enough, you can just let things go wild and always bring it back to its point and like have a lot of fun with it. So I
Yeah.
like that about you. But like I can see in Kayla, like that experience was there already. So I was just wondering, like, knowing how good she is, or that kind of how you anticipated her to be, were you worried like, oh, she might not say yes, and then I'll have to find someone else? I wasn't talking about the other thing at all.
No, I know.
About.
I'm just
Oh,
giving you
now
a
I'm
hard time.
curious about the
Okay,
other
well,
thing.
now I feel like I have to say something because I did. So originally, Kayla, about a year and a half ago, I had asked James if he wanted to be on the show with me because he had also because my one thing is after I asked my best friend and she kind of rejected the idea, I kind of started thinking about how fun it would be to have somebody that's never seen the show. So that was kind of where I was going forward as far as finding somebody to be on the show is I wanted somebody to have a different perspective of the show for me completely because I thought that would bring a very interesting dynamic. So I knew James had never seen One Tree Hill. So, and me and James were getting really, really close. And so I did ask James, I did pitch the idea to James at one point and he had agreed at some point, but then with everything going on, it just kind of got busy. And then at some point along the road, I completely forgot that I'd asked
No.
him because it was just so much going on. And
I
so
need
then
to
I
step
asked you,
in.
Kayla.
I need to
Okay,
step in.
I'm about to
I
put down my dog, so I have to apologize because he might do a growly noise, but he's
That's
been
okay.
whining, so I just want to give you a heads up.
No, all good.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
I feel like I
Completely
need
quiet.
to step in and take ownership of this because Michael is painting himself in a poor light and me in a great light. Michael asked me to be the co-host on the Halloween episode we recorded, and I said, yeah, definitely we'll do that. And then I forgot all about it. And then like Michael, like, have you watched it? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting to it. And I never got back to him. I never watched an episode. So if there is a bad person in the scenario, and there's not, like it's just life as you mentioned, it's my fault. I never got back to you. So this is not, it's not gonna be a sudden reveal like, now Kayla, my revenge. Not at all. Like,
Yeah, no, it just made me feel bad because like I asked Kayla and then I literally messaged James because I was so excited that I had found somebody to be on the podcast and I was like, me and Kayla are starting One Tree Hill podcast and James is like, I actually think that's really good because I wouldn't have been able to do it anyway. And then I was like, I did ask you to do it with
like
me. Oh no.
we were talking last week and I could tell you felt bad, but like I said to you, and I'll say it on my podcast as well now, like I'm guilty of doing this a lot. Like I have a bit of a reputation in my friends and stuff like that, a few that I have. Probably because of this, where I'll commit to something and then forget about it, and then like I'll get replaced, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was my fault, wasn't it? Like there was a thing I won't talk about it in detail, but there was an opportunity that came up earlier this year, and I was interviewed for something and I didn't get it. And I remember at the time I was like, oh man, that really sucks. And then I saw the finished product. I was like, oh, I was not the right pick for this at all. Like, I'm so glad they didn't pick me because I wouldn't fit that vibe. And listening to the podcast, this is the same thing. This is not me being like, oh, I should have been the co-host. I don't have the time to do a second podcast. I don't have enough time to do my own. And listen to your your genuine connection, the way you guys have rapport with each other. I would have not been a good fit for this one. I wouldn't have been able to take in the direction and ask those questions that Kayla does. So when you told me, I was legitimately very proud of you and excited for you. And when I heard the episode, I was like, what a great choice. Like, this is a match made in heaven. So This was
Thank
not
you.
an elaborate ruse for me to be like, haha, and now I'll
No,
mustache and
I know. I
pose
was
you
giving you
online.
I
I
was
will
giving you
say
a
that
hard time.
Michael makes it very easy. He's very, you're just very kind and welcoming to, and I
Thank
don't think
you.
everyone's very used to that sometimes. And you make
Well,
talking very easy.
I'm definitely guilty of that because the first time Michael and I met, like, because he's just like, you're right. Like, I think I've talked about this on the show before as well, Michael, but he's just like, hey, how you doing? What are you doing? What do you want to talk about? And he's so friendly. And I was raised in the 90s when the internet first came out, and like, if a stranger talks to you, it's probably dangerous. And even though I'm in my mid to late 30s, still have that in the back of my mind. I was like, who is this stranger? Why does he want to hurt me? And then I was like, oh wait, no, I'm a 34-year-old man. It's okay. Like, he probably doesn't. He's probably just a nice guy. And that's exactly who Michael is. So I'm glad you didn't have the same suspicions that I did, because it would have really made an interesting podcast if you were suspicious. But no,
Well,
he
I
is.
think sometimes you are suspicious when people are messaging you or you're
Mm.
messaging them, and then you actually talk to them and you're like, okay, so they're genuine. That's nice.
Well, we actually had this because Michael told, like, again, look, we're lifting the curtain back here, but Michael told me, he's like, hey, send Kayla the link to the Zoom tonight, so the Zoom, so we can record. And I was like, oh, I haven't met her yet. Like, should we bring her to a chat, or like, would you want to send it? And Michael was like, it's fine, just reach out to her. And I was like, no, you're very friendly and you make it work, but it is a bit weird. So I was like, hey Kayla, like, my name's James. Like, I think Michael might have told you a bit about me, but anyway, I'm gonna be interviewing you guys if you're cool with it. Like, it's just like very like gentle approach. And then once you respond, I'm like, all right, now I can send the link. Just
No, I understand. I get very anxious when talking to new people, and
mm.
even saying the most simple thing, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? So I understand. Talking to new people is hard.
Yeah. And I mean, believe it or not, it's hard for me as well. Like, I've kind of learned to, I am more of an extrovert, but I have kind of learned to like fake it till I make it type of thing too. So sometimes I find it easier for me to kind of like fake that confidence, because it's like, it's one of those things that I've instilled in myself now, where it's like, okay, like if you try to be confident, then it's gonna rub off on everybody else and they're just gonna automatically assume you're confident. But then it also is, it does, I don't want to talk highly about myself because I don't like doing that. But
I'll do that.
I
Don't
do
worry.
find it,
I'll make sure it gets done. Don't worry.
well, I mean, I do find it very easy to talk to people. Like once I get in conversation with somebody, it's easier for me to like keep the conversation going and stuff like that. So like that's always been something I guess I've kind of been okay at. I just don't really realize it at the time because I'm like, so like in my mind, I'm like, oh God, new
You make
people.
it
So it
sound
is,
so
I mean,
natural.
thank you. I mean, I
I
try, but I am nervous still sometimes when I talk to like certain people. So
I had it today. Like, I have that extroverted introvert thing where I'm like, if I'm in a group of people that I know, if I'm talking about something that I'm confident with, and let's be honest, there's only one thing I can talk about, it's movies. I can kind of pass and I can kind of look like I'm confident and kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about. But put me in a room of strangers and I don't get to control the topic. Like, I'm just like, oh, I want to go home. And why did I leave the house? And like, even coming in today, like, I knew Michael. I've known Michael for years now. But Kayla's first time meeting, and like, there was like that butterfly sensation. I'm like, you what if like she doesn't like we don't gel, what if she doesn't like you, what if like you make a joke and it's like crickets. Like, I have that on every episode, like in the back of my head, like, this might be the time I drop a joke and no one laughs, or this might be the time that I share an opinion and people disagree. And I've shared plenty of opinions I'm sure people disagree with, but because you have like such a rapport on the show, you can kind of make it work. But I always have that as well. I'm definitely like not the most confident person. I fake it till I make it as well, I guess. So
If it
yeah.
so you
helps, I feel like I disagree with people most of the time.
mhm.
And I feel like it makes it very hard to make friends. So if that makes you feel any better when people disagree with you, just I understand.
I like a disagreement, and I think like, I know I just said that I'm worried people disagree with my point, but I think it's more like growing up as a teenager. We're getting real deep here, guys, but like, we're avoiding movie podcasts. We're just going into like the mental health talk.
personal
But
life.
like, growing up, like especially like in high school, and I'm sure like some people listening, maybe the two of you can agree to this. Like, your opinion was just torn to shreds so much, so you just were like, you would clam up. At least I would always clam up to like, I'm the same thing. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't want to get ridiculed. I don't want to get noticed. Just keep it on the down low, keep it quiet, and then one day when all of this high school nonsense is behind me, bring it back to One Tree Hill High School. That's when I'll find out who I am and I'll figure it all out. But right now, I want to just shut up. Like 20 years ago, I would never imagine I'd be like sharing my opinions online on a podcast. So I know what you mean when you say like you disagree with people, and then it can be hard to make friends with that because people take things like movie and television so personally. But like in the end of the day, it's like, guys, it's not a gradable art. Like I know we try to pigeonhole it into like reviews and stuff like that, but it's not. Like one person's trash is another person's masterpiece, and that's where people most disagree with me because I love everything. Like the first conversation Michael and I had about horror movies, I was like, "So, this new Halloween trilogy is excellent, isn't it?" And like, just the dots lingering for a while. I'm like, "Oh, okay." So once again, like someone disagrees with me, but I feel like I argue its case pretty well. I won't do it here because I just did it with an interview like 2 weeks ago where I like argued the case for pretty heavily. But so I understand. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, but to answer your question, we
Yes.
we kind of went on
yeah.
a little bit of a, but that's okay. To answer your question, I was not I don't know. I kind of think with me, I always kind of, and this is terrible. This is something that I'm trying to work on being like more like it's not that I'm not a positive person. I think I've just been set up a lot for failure during my life where I get really excited about certain things and then they just don't work out the way that I wanted them to. So I've kind of developed this thing where it's like if it happens right now. If it doesn't, then it'll happen later at some point. So I think when I originally asked Kayla and I was waiting for her answer, I would have been bummed, yeah, obviously, because Kayla, I was like, she's an asset. I want her on the show with me. I need her on the show. Like it wasn't even a question. Like once I had started talking to Kayla more and was listening to her work and the way that she writes and the way that she speaks and all, I was like, she has to be on the show with me. But then there was another part of my mind where I was like, well, if she doesn't, then just that's the way life is. So it was like I would have been bummed. I would have been a little sad, but I think also, I think I was kind of preparing for the worst. So that's just what I do. It's something I'm working on is just not expecting the worst and instead expecting the best instead of just preparing for the worst, I guess. Um, so yeah, I mean, I was obviously overjoyed when Kayla said that she would. I mean, Kayla can attest to this. I was like, yay! I was like, oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
excited. And then I was like, okay, well, we got to do this and we got to do that. And I feel like I was like I was afraid because I was like, after that day, I think I was like sending her some stuff and I was like, okay, so I already have a logo and I already have this and I already have that. And I was like, okay, I need to slow down because I don't want to run her off because I'm just like, because that's how I get really excited and hyper fixed on something. And then I get like really into it. And it's like all I can think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kayla's been really cool. Kayla's been amazing. And I mean, I couldn't have done this podcast with anyone but her. And I couldn't do it without her either. So
I mean
thank
this
you.
in the nicest. I mean it's in the nicest way possible. I agree. Like listening to that again, I've only listened to one episode, but I don't. Like, I listened to quite a lot of your back catalog of your other show. I don't know who would have been a better fit. I think your dynamic is perfect. I think it really
Thank
works
you.
well. What was I gonna say? Like, I was so like busy working on my compliment, I completely forgot what I was going to say. No, I know what you mean though. Like when you said that you're preparing for rejection, because a lot of people won't know this. If you don't record a podcast, it is a world of rejection. Like just because we're not trying to be in movies or on television, and some of us are trying to do that as well. Like if you're doing an interview style podcast, which is what you've done in the past, Michael, and what I do as well, like you're knocking on doors constantly. You're like, do you want to come on the show? Please come on the show. And like there's a lot of legwork and there's not always a lot of return. So you do get used to rejection, but it's never fun. It's still like, oh my God, like I really thought this person would have gone for it. And you don't want to like
Yeah.
bug people too much. So I can 100% understand like it's why I don't have a co-host. Because when I created my show, I was like, you know what? I don't want to put that burden on anyone. I don't want to ask someone because like if they say no, I'll probably give up before I start. So I got to commend you for like taking that step to be like, you know what? I'm put myself out there and see if I can get a regular co-host because again, you haven't really had a co-host for a while. So I think it's really brave of you to go out there and just put yourself out there and be like, hey, you want to go on this ride with me?
Yeah. And it's been so fun because, like you said, James, I haven't had a co-host for almost 4 years because when I originally started We Love Horror podcast, I had Roman, and I think he lasted about 6 episodes, and then he got busy with other things, personal things, so he had to leave the show, and then it was just me. And I mean, I've had a different guest on every episode for the last 4 years, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but sometimes it would be nice to have someone, you know, also there with me where it didn't feel like I had the whole podcast on my shoulders at all times 24/7, where I'm doing the editing, the marketing, the this and that. And I mean, it's all fun for me. Like I enjoy doing it, but it's also nice to have Kayla, where Kayla's also like, hey, what if we did this? Kayla's like, well, let me help you with this, and then we can do this and I can do that. And it's just nice to have somebody else that I can work off of and bounce ideas off of, and where it's just not all on me to figure everything out. You know what I mean? So it's just been such a relief to have Kayla, because she's so great. And like I said, it's gonna start sounding like a freaking tape recording over and over about how much I love Kayla and how much I think she's amazing. But I mean, it's true. I really do. I truly do. And thank you, Kayla, again.
Oh, thank you. See, I thought I was putting way too much on you because I feel like you've been so good about like doing everything. Like you're kind of like go, go, go. And I'm just like, am I
Yeah.
making him do too much? Am I not doing enough?
Look,
No,
at this
not at
stage,
all.
Kayla, the goal is to get to episode 7. If you can get to episode 7, you hit the record, and then
So
Yeah.
episode 7, and then everything can go downhill.
yeah,
Oh,
Right.
don't say that.
down one tree hill. Come on, let's get
Down one tree. Oh, yes.
Down one tree. Yep.
So you said that you've been wanting to a show for a while, Kayla. So you've done it. Like you pulled the trigger. What's it like? I know it's early days, but how are you enjoying being part of a podcast? How's the experience for you? Like, I don't want to get too corny, but like, was it everything you dreamed it would be? But like, you know, you're doing the thing you wanted to do. So how's that been for you so far?
It's been really nice, and it's been very nice to do it with someone who actually wants to be there, because the only reason I haven't had one by now is because I didn't want to do it alone. And it's been very nice to have someone to actually talk to and to be just as excited, if not more, because he's like a huge fan of One Tree Hill. But and it's very nice because I get to get a new show out of it, and I don't know that I would have thought to watch One Tree Hill on my own. So
Yeah.
it's been really great.
It is nice. You
Yeah.
said before that he is like the perfect partner. Like whenever I've done a crossover with Michael, whether it's on We Love Horror or on my own show, um, like it's always 3 hours. Like it's just us like having the best time. Like Michael is very encourageable, and I mean in the best possible way. Like we can just go on the wildest tangents. And like, I remember when you sent me the file, Michael, I was like, it's a 45-minute show. Why is this in 3 hours? Like I was actually like taken aback by
Yeah.
it first. No, I was just like, oh my god, like I don't know anything about this show. I don't know if I'm gonna sit through 3 hours. But then I was like, oh wait, no, it's Michael we're talking about. Like, of course, like it's just yes, it's about the show, but it's also not about the show. It's about the show behind the show, which is kind of the Michael Kayla show, which is also very entertaining. But yeah, like if you're in good hands with Michael. Just yeah,
Yes, he's
maybe put
kind
your
of
soul to
asked
shame.
for
I think.
anyone better.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys have got me almost emotional over here. Oh,
Yeah,
Also,
goodness.
if you
my
I
get
just,
husband's very happy too, because I know you guys don't like know each other, but he's heard us like walking around if he's like when we're on a
yeah,
call, and he thinks that you seem like someone who is very good to have in my life, so he's very happy about this.
that's good. I think you guys are both very good to have in my life as well. Whew,
yeah, if we could start
okay.
slinging some compliments my way, actually, that'd be really totally
You
good.
know what?
Uh,
You are amazing. And
you
all the
are.
time that we've known each other, it's just
I
been
would
wonderful.
I
Like
would
you've
say,
always been there
Kayla,
for me.
yeah, in the length of our entire friendship, I don't think we faltered, which is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. Um, let's touch on the writing, because I know you, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but I know you have a YouTube channel, and I know you're doing like a Taylor Swift horror project.
Yes.
So I was not a Taylor Swift fan until I had a daughter. My daughter's 4 years old, but Taylor
Oh.
Swift is very safe. So it's good like introductory music for a toddler. But I know more about Taylor Swift thanks to Michael. Michael's kind of the common theme here as well, because he was like, oh, if you like this, you should check this out. And so I would send him songs. I'm like, this song, I like the song. He's like, oh, that's a deep cut. People don't like that. I'm like, I don't know, it's just on the playlist. But
Yeah.
so tell us about the Taylor Swift horror project, because I'm intrigued. Like it sounds very cool.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I was never really good at writing short stories. I could write 400 pages easier than writing 8 pages. Like
I agree.
I just, yeah. And my friend was doing something on her channel for like a 31 days of Halloween. And so she was posting a short story every single day of October. And I
Wow.
was like, wow, maybe I should get into writing short stories. And I was trying to think of a fun way to do that because I knew that I've always loved horror, but I've never been good at writing it. So I was like, well, what's a fun way to do this? And I was listening to the song Ivy by Taylor Swift, and like just the story or bits of a story started popping in my head. I'm like, why don't I just write horror stories inspired by Taylor Swift songs?
Mhm.
I will be able to work on my horror writing and my short story writing, and it'll be a fun way to do it. Like, and that's basically where that came from.
No, that's
It
cool,
was
man. Like, I'll tell you what, I haven't heard of anyone else doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what's cool about it. It's like you've taken like, peanut butter and and chocolate and mixed it together, made a brand new flavor that people haven't heard of before. Like, I think it's really cool. I'm
yeah,
very excited to check it out. I saw you did one on Cruel Summer recently. Is that
I did, yes. And
Michael's like,
Michael
yes, yeah.
was kind enough to step in and voice the main character for me. So thank
Oh,
you,
cool.
Michael. You did a very good job.
Thank you. It was so much
Mhm.
fun. It was a blast because, yeah, you reached out to me and you were like, "Hi, I know this is like really last minute, but I need someone to like fill a voice role." And I was like, "Yes, I'll do it." Because there's always been a part of me that's always wanted to kind of go into acting and see what it's like, but I've always been very self-conscious about myself. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. But then that was like kind of a good opportunity for me to kind of try it and see what happens from it. So yeah, it was fun.
That
I
is
had a
that
blast.
is
Yeah.
cool because previous friends of Michael have only made him play himself. So it's good that you gave him a chance to scratch himself.
Yeah.
That's all I ever do. I'm like, hey, Michael, do this radio play. Just play yourself. It's fine. Like,
No, it was fun. I had a blast.
Well, if you're ever wanting to do more, well, I'm just going to tell everyone he did a very good job
mm.
with the role he was given, and I was very happy with it. I didn't know how it was going to go because I've never heard you do anything like that before, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I kind of surprised myself when I sent you the voice clips. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if she's gonna like it, I hope." And then you were like, "I loved it." And I was like, "Okay, whew, good." And then I was like, "Okay, good. I made I mission accomplished. Cool." Just made me feel, yeah. So thank you.
Yes, 2 thumbs up.
Thank you.
Very cool. And what's the name of the YouTube channel? We'll plug it at the end as well. But what's the name of the YouTube channel so people listening can go check it out?
Uh, sorry, I'm thinking of my Instagram right now, I think. Stories by Kayla.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So go check it out, guys. Obviously, you can hear already like how fun and exciting Kayla is, and I'm sure like that combination has to intrigue people. Like that's just like that sounds so cool to me. Like as soon as I started, I'm like, wow, what an interesting concept. Like as I said, like two different flavors that happen to work together. Like I'm very very interested in that as well. So I hope people go check that out and support it because that sounds like an awesome little project. Which who knows, maybe you'll be able to do more of it as well. Which is
Yeah,
If
I'm
I have to
gonna
say
say if
any,
anyone looks me up, I recommend The House Held by Ivy or The Girl in the Weeds because some of my stories aren't the best, and those are
I
probably
was
my or like we just mentioned yours, but we just mentioned that one.
no, I was
So
just gonna say that. I said if I may interject here, the story that was my absolute favorite was The House Held by Ivy. That if that does not showcase Kayla's talents as a writer and even a narrator, because you do also narrate your stories, and also her
unfortunately,
visuals that she does. Unfortunately, you sound fantastic, Kayla. I think you should start doing like narrations for like stories. Like you should read story because your voice is great.
oh
And
I'll get you to
no,
re-record all the narration from my 100th episode because it's me doing it, and
oh
it's
no.
you can come and do that. Do you want to read
James
50
did great.
pages?
That's
Yeah.
funny because I hate narrating. Takes me forever.
Yeah, but that was actually the one I was going to be like, that is my of all of the ones, that is my 100% favorite because it was just I was so, and with like all of your stories, I'm not just talking about this one, but with this one especially, I was so engaged. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to know what happens next. And she adds sound effects, she adds like visual effects. It's very,
Oh,
very
cool.
top notch. So
It was the one that came the most naturally that I didn't have to force out. So
If you
yeah,
can
you did
find a way,
fantastic.
if you can find a way to turn "Stay, Stay, Stay" into a horror story, like please let me know because it is probably my favorite Taylor Swift song.
I'm
And I
so
think
glad you said that. It's a
Oh, that was my reaction too.
no one ever says that.
I really like it. I think I'm just spitballing now. I'm not telling you how to do your job. I think there's a really good way to do like a home invasion story, or like a abduction story, or like a what's it called, like a spurned lover holding someone captive story. Anyway, I'm not.
Keep
Oh,
that in
see,
my little noggin there.
Oh, see, I was thinking completely the opposite. I was actually thinking like Ouija board, like paranormal type thing,
Ooh,
where like somebody
Ooh.
loses someone like in their life and they're like, no, stay, you know
I
what I
like
mean?
that. Oh, I
And
might
then
like
it's,
that
I
better.
don't know.
Are you sure you guys don't need to be on this project as well? Like that you guys don't need to be writing horror stories?
Or like my go-to answer for everything is cults. So there's another way to do stay.
I
But
do love a cult. I
That's
do love a good cult movie.
a
So,
good cult
you
movie,
know.
yes. Those are always
I'm
But
fantastic.
hey, now that
sure.
you brought it up, Kayla, I think all three of us should collaborate and write some short stories together, I think. I think we should all bring our amazing creative brains together and we should like write something together. I
I know
think that'd
how
be so
much
fun.
I know how much artists love being told what they should do. So I couldn't wait to force my opinions on you. I was like, she's gonna love this. This is what you should do.
Hey, if it helps, I've been struggling which song to do off that album, so any ideas, welcome.
Yeah, Mike. I remember Michael was very excited when I told him I liked that song. He's like, "No one mentions that song," and I was like, "Oh, there you go. Look, I don't know. It feels fun."
Just like nobody like gives
Oh,
how you just like
sorry.
nobody ever gives How You Get the Girl credit either. And I freaking love that song. That's one of my favorite songs of 1989 is How You Get the Girl. And I hear so much shit talk about that song. And I said, excuse me, there will be no slander of How You Get the Girl in this house. You
I
either
don't
like
know.
it or you go somewhere. I'm just kidding.
I
Well,
don't
I
know.
used to
Sorry,
have
go.
a dog named, sorry.
No, you're okay. Go
Kayla's
ahead.
about I thought Kayla was about to say, well, actually, sorry, I
Well,
don't
I
like
used
it.
to have a dog named Bobo. No, Boo Boo. Can't remember. For the shortest time because the guy I was dating at the time got her for me, but I lived in a small house and she was a pit bull, so she was gonna grow up to be, a larger dog, and I
Pitbull.
just didn't have the heart to keep her in a small house. Um, but when she was a puppy, I used to sing that song to her because I think that was the year that the album actually came out, and she hated that song. She would growl at me.
I think we
So
She
found the
said
real
it.
reason the dog didn't stay. Stay.
she went to a good home.
I don't know if this is a basic answer, but I think my favorite song of 1989 is New Romantics. I really like that
I
one.
love
I
that
do
Good
like
one.
song.
I do like Shake It Off. Like, don't get me wrong, that's the song that I was like, oh, I gotta give this Taylor Swift person like another listen to, because this is a really good pop song. But then I heard
Yeah.
New Romantics years later. I'm like, this is killer. And so like slowly, I still don't know all the tracks because I just haven't like it's not my go-to music. But when I do hear music, I'm like, oh, I gotta remember that one. So there's some stuff that I do really dig. And Michael,
Yeah.
every time we talk, my repertoire for Taylor Swift grows. So
Well, might I suggest you listen to also Wonderland and You Are in Love because those
okay,
mm, I'm
See, I
that You Are in Love is a contender for my first dance song, so at my
me
wedding whenever that happens, but
I was drunk when 1989 Taylor's version came out, and I was crying during You Are in Love. The line, "You're my best friend," I was just sitting
that's
there and
my
I'm
favorite.
like, I love you, Andrew. And he's asleep in the next room, not knowing what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
I just
no.
have to.
See, this is
Go
how
on,
I'd
sorry.
say me and Kayla have the same brain. It's like that
Nice.
lyric when she says you are my best friend, I'm like, "Ooh." Yeah.
I think this might be a record, Michael. It's taken us almost an hour to get to Taylor Swift. And I feel like normally we get there a lot sooner. So a lot of restraint
Yeah.
shown today. And actually,
There's
I
a
brought it.
running
I brought it up. Sorry, go.
Yeah, well, no, I was gonna say there's always a running joke on We Love Horror podcast. If I'm not talking about Taylor Swift or what was the other thing? The Grudge. There's two things that if I don't bring up, send help immediately, call 911 because I'm being held hostage and there's something wrong. I always joke with my listeners that that's my way of telling you that something's not right in an episode. If
Oh,
I don't
is
bring up
it
Taylor Swift,
the
do what?
American version or the original of The
Oh,
Grudge?
the
Okay.
American, because the American one was the one I got first introduced to before I even saw the Japanese version. So
Okay.
I have a long history with that movie. I won't get into it, but it's about to celebrate its 20th anniversary. So you best believe I'm doing an episode on We Love Horror about it.
Have you seen the Grudge, Kayla?
I have. I haven't seen it in a long time. I think I've actually seen the Japanese version more than the American version. I don't think I've
I've
seen the American version for a long time.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
gonna disappoint Michael, but I still haven't seen any of them. But it's look, I'm just throwing out little kernels that I know he's gonna grab onto and hate and storm out at the interview.
You're
But
just trying to see how much he can take before he loses it.
I think that should be your first episode on We Love Horror, Kayla. You guys should do The Grudge together.
Cute.
Because it won't be me because I haven't seen it. I'm like, sorry, Michael, another thing you recommended, I haven't watched yet.
Wow. Just kidding. No, cue the Regina George part where she comes in a room screaming and tearing shit off the walls. That's me anytime James brings up that he still hasn't watched any of those movies. I'm like,
Actual footage of Michael.
He's tearing down all my horror posters that aren't The Grudge.
this girl is the nastiest skank bitch I've ever met.
It's not the first time people have said that about me, so I know it won't be the last. I'm very excited about your show, guys. Clearly, like I've been blowing up quite a bit. Before we jump into movie talk, because I'd love to talk about some movies if we have time. I think we're doing okay. Is there anything else that the listeners should know about the show? Is there anything you kind of want to tell them? Is there anything I've missed? Because I've tried to go pretty spoiler free. I've kind of grabbed on a couple of things that I really like, but I don't want to kind of give it all away. Otherwise, why would they listen? But is there anything they should know? Is there anything you want to kind of talk about the show before we change subjects?
It is
Kayla?
very in depth, so there are a lot of spoilers. So if you plan to watch the show and you don't like spoilers, I would say to probably watch the episodes before you listen to whatever episode we're on.
For sure. And to add to that point, I think we do go so in depth with it. Like you don't even really have to watch the show to know what's going on. Because me and Kayla, like, I mean, we'll kind of speed through scenes that don't have as much significance or importance. But I think me and Kayla literally go scene by scene by scene. At least that's how we've been doing it in the last 2 episodes, which I can't speak for Kayla, but I actually personally like doing that just because 1, my OCD, and 2, I just like being able to like really fully talk about, a subject, which is why when I do on We Love Horror, when I do like my movie review, like when I pick a movie and we go through it, I really like to talk about it because it's just, I think you get more out of it if you have more to say, I think. And so, but like I said, I can't speak for Kayla. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Kayla? Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy it when the finished product is there, but when I'm taking notes, I'm like,
Yeah.
but once we actually record, I enjoy it. During the note-taking process, though, I'm just like,
yeah, note taking is I don't like taking notes either. It's not fun.
Yeah.
I told you guys before the show, I'm like, I don't do any prep, like, which people think I think some people are like, it's a bit lazy. Like, shouldn't you do it? I'm like, just gonna go in. Like, let's just see what happens. Let's just let it all fly off. But it's because I don't like taking notes. I did it once for an episode of Midnight Terrors, and the boys know this as well. But like very early in, they could tell that like I had watched the movie, but I was really struggling. So I just changed my role to make fun of the host for the rest of the episode, and it was quite effective.
See, at least you have a plan.
Yeah, I was
make fun of people. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Man, it sounds so horrible, doesn't it? Like I'm like one of the villains in One Tree Hill. I think every chance I get, Michael. One thing that you guys talk about in the show that I think is important for listeners to know is that you're doing it bi-weekly. So it's not a weekly show, which I really like. For those Australian, bi-weekly is fortnightly, because we have to use different words to make things fun for everyone. So bi-weekly. So if you haven't seen the show, or even if you had and you want to catch up, it's not a demanding task. If you want to watch along with you guys, you can watch one every 2 weeks. Like I think we've all got 40 minutes in our lives to watch an episode or something every 2 weeks. So I think that's a really good structure as well, because it does allow the audience to engage with it more and know what you're talking about. But as I said, I've never seen the show, and I feel like I have, because you guys just really get stuck into it, really just tear it apart in terms of like pulling the story apart, not criticizing it. That what a plot twist that would be if Michael was like, actually, I hate it.
Well, there are things like I do love One Tree Hill, but there are some things on certain episodes that I will definitely be bringing up to Kayla that I'm just like, that was a choice. I don't know why the heck you had that character say this or wear that or do that. So I mean, One Tree Hill is my favorite show of all time, but it is far from perfect in certain aspects. So I will be tearing certain things to shreds sometime. But I do like that you also brought up the bi-weekly thing. And I don't want to share too much of, what me and Kayla have discussed, because we kind of want to keep it kind of on the down low, but we have kind of discussed like obviously doing like a Patreon or like members exclusive stuff in the future. We haven't really worked all that out yet because we just started for one. But I have come, like, me and Kayla have come up with ideas, and we kind of thought of one of like maybe doing live viewing parties with people on Patreon.
cool.
Like once we start a Patreon, like doing watch with us as we watch the episode together. We can have people come in to like the stream, and they can watch the episode live with us and like talk or answer questions or stuff like that. So
No,
that was just something we kind of talked about that we thought would be kind of fun. So
I think it's important to do. Like, I've been trying to do premium content. I've been thinking about it since I came up with the show. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love doing this as a hobby for free. But if I could find a way to make this a job, like, oh my god, like my life would be perfect.
the dream.
So,
Yeah.
right, it is the dream. So, like, I'm the same as you. I think you always think about ways to monetize, but it's not even like we've talked about with our merchandise, Michael. Like, my t-shirts are the lowest price point I can make them. It's not about making the money. It's more about like, hey, wear the shirt, then it looks cool. So, but you do think of ways to do it, so that way you can also put more into the show, provide a better quality show as well. So, I think it's
Yeah.
important to think of that pretty much from day one. I think that's a good plan. But we've had a runaway dog.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, this is where they shill and they ask for money. I'm getting out of here. So it's a very honest dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, there's more to come, definitely, for sure, with Kayla and I's podcast. I think we've got a lot of, I mean, Kayla, like I said, Kayla has come up with some great ideas that I didn't even think of. Like, so she's been great. She's been so much fun to be a part of this podcast with and collaborate with, and kind of bounce ideas off of. And it's just been such a blessing. And I can't thank her enough. I thank her every time we do an episode, because it's just, I don't have, well, I have to. No, how am I saying this without sounding like a dick? Because I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying,
let me save you. It's
thank you.
important. It's
Yes,
really
thank you.
important.
That's what I'm
do
trying
the
to
same
say.
thing. What I think, like, whether you're working together as a team or you're having guests, like, someone is giving up, their time to work with you. So whenever I have a guest, and whether it's even if it's my family, my best friends, like, and I include you in there as well. Michael's one of my best friends. Like, you'll know, like, after we finish chat, like, I'll turn the recording off. Thank you so much for doing this again, man. I really appreciate it. And then once we're
Yeah.
off and I like generally I'm like, well, I gotta go to bed because it's the middle of the night. Before I go to bed, I'll always send you a message on Instagram like, hey, just want to say thanks again. That was really fun. I think, like, the reason that people like coming on your show, people like coming on my show, I think they say they do. People like going onto certain podcasts is because of that camaraderie, because you treat people like people. Like, it's really important. So if you weren't saying thank you to Kayla, I'd be like, oh man, what's Michael doing? Like, he's gonna
What
say
a
thank
dick. Yeah.
you. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, see, I
Well,
need to learn from you guys. I get so awkward that I'm just like, well,
See ya.
cool.
here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
No.
And then that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael
No.
texted me straight after. Actually, he was like, "What? Like, she didn't say thank you again."
No, we didn't say
Yeah, he did.
No,
Every
I mean,
time. Now I'm just gonna, I don't know. Every time we like end our meetings, now I'm just gonna be like, bye.
Yeah, see ya.
see you later, bitch.
Ugh.
Oh, sorry. Did I forget to turn the mic off? Oops. I'm just like, okay, love you. Bye.
Bye, bitch.
No, but Kayla, you got to do it in a way that, like, references how you feel about the show currently. So, like, see ya, Peyton, and then just like, wait, what? Did she call me Peyton? What does she mean by that? And leave him just like questioning it for like the next 2 weeks. Like, what does she mean by Peyton? Does she like Peyton now? My good Peyton? Like, oh, is it episode 1 Peyton? And just like that'll like really get under his skin. I'm giving away your kryptonite here, Michael. So
No, if you really want to get under my skin, call me Dan.
oh,
Bye,
really?
Dan.
What? I'll be like, bye. No, I mean, thank you for the save earlier, but I think what I was trying to say is that, yes, Kayla does deserve all the praise in the world for what she does and her contribution to the show. And that's what I meant. I hope you did not take offense to that, Kayla, because I hope you know what I meant when I said that, because I was like,
No.
she doesn't need to hear it, but she does, but she doesn't. And I was like, no, that's not what I mean.
No, I didn't take offense to it at all.
Okay, that's that. I sometimes I can be very articulate with my words, but then sometimes I don't know how to say certain things, and then I overthink it in my head. I'm like, oh, that sounded really dickish, didn't it? And then I'm like, and then I try to, like, you know, tread backwards, and I'm like, oh, it just makes me sound worse.
He's
So
reversing, but the mirror's not working. He's like, oh.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I put my foot in my mouth so often that I can tell when someone else is like, that's not what I mean.
yeah. Well,
And you're
speaking
like,
of
I'm glad it's not me. So
yeah,
It's
speaking
like,
of putting
oh,
my
how nice this is.
speaking of putting my foot in my mouth, let me share a little story. I know I shared it with Kayla. I don't know if I ever shared this with you, James, but Kayla will know the story as soon as I bring it up. But when I went to see Taylor Swift in concert, we do this thing where yep, she knows. We where everybody, they bring friendship bracelets. They make friendship bracelets. We trade them during the show. We trade them before the show, after the show, whatever. And while we were standing in line waiting to go into the stadium, there was a small group of people in front of us, and we had been talking to them for a while. We kind of got familiar. They weren't seated anywhere near us. They were like completely on the other side of the stadium, but we kind of started talking, and we were exchanging friendship bracelets. And 5 minutes later, I turned to my sister with them in earshot, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna trade this one because I don't like it. It's kind of ugly, and it just happened to be the one that from the person that traded it with me right in front of me. And my sister looks at me. She's like, and I'm like, and he's like, it's okay. I know it's ugly. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I felt so bad. Like
It's
every
supposed to
time
be a safe space, Michael.
well, I didn't mean it in a mean way. Like I wasn't trying to like make anyone feel bad. It was just kind of like my inner thoughts. I let my inner thoughts win, I guess. And I kind of just say things without realizing I'm saying it. And so I still
I'll
to
say
this
this
day
in
feel so bad.
I'll say this in defense of you because I analyze everything everyone says. The guy said he knew, so was he just like trying to offload a bad bracelet? It's like, this guy will take a bad bracelet. He looks like the kind of guy who deserves a bad bracelet. I reckon he deserved what you said, man.
No, and I don't even think it was that ugly. I just don't think for me I didn't really like it. I have a certain, I don't go, I guess aesthetic kind of thing. So when I see certain things, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty. I like it. And then other things I'm like, no. So it wasn't a badly made bracelet. I think just for me, I was like, no. But I ended up saying it out loud in front of him and I felt so bad.
Maybe
I
he
like.
didn't make it and someone else gave it to him.
Oh
Mm.
no,
And he
he
was
definitely said
just,
he made it.
oh.
Like, oh shit.
I like how you were like. I feel really bad about it, but also in the same sense, you're like, but I don't like it. Like even as you feel bad about it, you still like you're doubling down. You're really like, look, I do feel bad, but it's hot garbage, guys. I cannot wear it.
I didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
think you've made that abundantly clear to him and everyone else. So, uh,
yeah, my sister tries to make me feel bad about it every chance she gets. She's like, "Remember that time?" And I was like, "Yes, Maddie, I know exactly what you're talking about. You don't have to
I
bring it up."
I finally met your sister, which was a big moment for me because for like for 3 seconds.
Yeah,
We were talking last week because I listened to her on your show and like hands down my favorite episodes. Um,
thank you.
but I also feel like it was such an awkward moment for her. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I know you. I'm a big fan. And she's like, what? And I was like, well, at least I didn't, criticize someone's bracelet at Taylor Swift concert, but that was still pretty awkward.
Yeah, yeah,
Michael's
James.
like,
Moving on now. We don't need to hear it
Michael's
again. I'm
like,
just
oh my god, you set me up again.
It's gonna
Um,
be the one thing you never live down. Everyone's just going to constantly bring it up.
It's really not. It's really that. And one time when I was in freshman year of college, so we lived in St. George, Utah at the time. And in St. George, Utah, I don't know if you guys have heard of this place, but we have a place called Tuacahn, which is a performing arts school. But it's also a place where a bunch of actors from Broadway perform like big high-tech shows there. Like we have a big atrium, like it's an auditorium, but it's outside, and you get a beautiful view of like all the red rocks and stuff. So where was I going with this?
that was it. He was bragging about where we were in college.
Oh
So
no, I don't remember. I did this is the last episode we recorded too.
you
Remember, Kayla? I
you
was
were
like, I was bringing
saying
up.
you were saying that there are two things you can't
Oh,
live down.
I remember
That
now.
comes, yeah.
So they were performing Grease, like the musical,
Hmm.
and we were in my friend's apartment, and she asked me if I want. She's like, I have an extra ticket to go see to go to Greece. Do you want to go with me? And I'm like to Greece? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, really? Like, I'm like, how much are the tickets? And she's like, they're only like $20. And I was like, $20 to go to Greece? Are you kidding me? Yes, I want to go. And she's like, I meant the musical, not the actual place. I was like, yeah.
That's
A little
I
less
can
excited now.
Yeah.
I can appreciate. My wife is Greek, so like I make jokes about that a lot. Like whenever like, she talks about Greece, I'm like the musical, right? Like I'll flip it over to her. She's always
Yeah.
talking about where her parents are from. Like, oh yeah, like how was Danny Zuko? She's like we've been together for almost 20 years, so she is done. Like with
Oh.
those jokes, but at least I'm not making my big fat Greek wedding jokes, which I know she also hates. So if you ever meet
Yeah.
her, definitely reference it as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because we
My-
still talked about this at the start. Like, it's important to rip on your spouse as much as possible. And listeners know I am relentless when it comes to my wife. So
Yeah.
As one should be. It's true love.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, not one of my
Thanks.
proudest moments, but you know.
And I think that one almost balances up. Like you kind of made someone like accidentally maybe made someone feel a bit bad, and then you decided it was a bit silly as well. But at the end of the day, like there's no negative intentions there. It all just happens. We're all
Yeah.
just people trying to make the best of these spins around the sun we get. So I wouldn't let it, maybe lose 2 more nights sleep and then get over it. then you penance.
I mean, there's times when, there has been times in the past year where I've woken up out of a dead sleep and be like, oh my God, I just remembered the time that I shit on somebody's bracelet at a Taylor Swift concert, and then I
And
lose sleep
it was
over it,
only a year
honestly.
ago, Michael. So it's not even like it's been like deep seated for like decades. Like if you're worried about it this much now, like you've got like so much trauma to work through on this particular incident.
Tell me about it. You tell me about
PTSD
it. Yeah.
post Taylor Swift disorder. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try
Man.
too much maybe. The show's excellent. People listening, please go check it out. It's really obviously you can hear their chemistry right now. I'm trying to like get in there as a third wheel. But it's a really fun show. You do not have to be a fan of the show to enjoy what they're doing. It's really, really cool. I love what you do. I can't wait to hear episode 2, which I think by the time this drops, episode 2 should be up. I'm very keen to hear it. Are we looking at? Do you think it's gonna be similar length pretty much every episode? Are we looking at 3 hour episodes each time, or?
Well, the thing that was funny is that I noticed when I was starting to edit the episode 2 is it's about the same length as episode 1, and it's weird because we had when we did episode 2 we had so many interruptions because there was first of all, me and Kayla both had thunderstorms in our areas, and at one point there was like a severe thunderstorm. It looked like a hurricane outside, and so there are times when we have to like pause because we're losing train of thought or something's happening or like our connections going out, but somehow it still ended up being just under 2 hours and 35 minutes. I think it's going to be even less once I edit out all the the parts where we need to edit it out, but it was about the same amount of time as episode 1. So yeah.
I think it's good because if you break it down, if you're doing it bi-weekly, it's 90 minutes a week. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
making up for the week you're not doing it, you're putting in the extra time. I know that's how the guys at Movie Bonus do it as well. Not to promote another podcast during your promotion, but I know they do the same thing. Like, look, it's once every 2 weeks, let's just do longer episodes. Me, I'm
Yeah.
a jerk. I'm like, no, every week, and it's 2.5 hours plus, and you must listen to it because I can't shut up, clearly. It's that's cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hearing episode 2, and I cannot get access to the show while I'm here in Scotland. There's no one shows it apparently. So when I get back to Australia, I'll play catch up. So I'll have maybe about a season's worth of work to get through, but that'll be okay. But
I mean, you could always order the box set that I have off of Amazon.
oh, that's true, Michael. And then you've called me out and put me in a position where I have to agree to something. And that's a very good point. We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, but you
You
know what?
could win this new box set.
Getting a box set of that size from Scotland to Australia would be really difficult. So we'll just have to play by ear, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm listening to
But
the show for you guys, not for the show itself. Although I will check it out.
See, I
But
was about to come to your defense and be like, Michael, not everyone collects DVDs, but then I remembered.
yeah, the listeners won't. They'll be like, "Don't do it. Don't give him an inch because he collects relentlessly." I bought like 10 Blu-rays yesterday. I think I'm up to 50 since I've been here. I've only been for about a month, so
See, I
nice.
used to be like that, and then I got older, and I think my anxiety got worse somehow. And now too many things around me, like, stresses me out. I used to have like shelves and shelves full of like books and, well, at the time DVDs, I guess more so Blu-rays now. And now I get so overwhelmed, and I'm like,
mm,
I hear.
I miss not
Yeah.
being neurotic. Well, as neurotic.
Well, Michael knows this. I turned my garage into a home theater. Like that's how I made it work. I'm like, well, I need space, so half the garage is just Blu-ray storage, and I might as well put a projector in there as well. And then suddenly, like, my wife lost half the garage. That's cool. She's not a gearhead or anything. She's not going to be working on the car, so we'll be all right. We should talk movies if we got time. We got time. We can make it work.
Movies.
So this week, in honor of your first episode or your new podcast, because by the time this drops, as I've said, it'll be second episode. I thought it'd be fun to go back to teen films, like teen comedies, high school films. We're using a pretty broad umbrella. But being that One Tree Hill, at least for the first half of the show, I believe is set in high school, so it is a high school show to at least begin with. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to something that's quite fond. Now, Michael reminded me right before we started recording that he and I have done this before. So, Michael, you're going to do a slightly different list, if I understand. Is that correctly? Is that correct?
Yeah. So,
why I say is that correctly? Oh my god.
Well, I don't think we did like an episode like purely just based on like teen or high school type movies. I think we did like a top 5 favorite movies list, and I didn't want to do horror, so I chose like my top 5 favorite movies. And I think maybe 4 out of 5 of those movies were teen drama coming of age type movies. Because I believe I had Mean Girls on there. I had Edge of Seven, or no, I had Mean Girls. I had Lady Bird. I had Perks of Being a Wallflower, I believe, and then I had another one.
And Titanic, which is not a teen film.
Oh, Booksmart. Booksmart was the other one. So
I love Booksmart. Actually, I love most of the films you mentioned there. I haven't rewatched Lady Bird yet, but I did buy it, so I'm committed.
Yeah.
You're like, it's just the same old story with you, James. You keep saying you're gonna watch this stuff and then you don't. What a jerk. As soon as this recording disconnects, the last thing you're like, as I leave, like, what was that?
Michael's just gonna come kidnap you one day and keep you hostage until you watch all of One Tree. Yeah.
I apologize for butchering this one because
No, you sounded great.
We support singing.
A young Australian young. I was trying to paint myself as young. An Australian podcaster was abducted and forced to watch all of One Tree Hill while listening.
And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it like this, like Clockwork Orange style.
Orange. Yeah.
I mean, it might get us viewers, Michael. So you got to do what you got to do.
That's
Sorry,
the
James.
Patreon show. That's the.
There we go.
Show.
It's a 24-hour live stream of just James sitting in a room surrounded by TVs.
And if you don't earn enough, then I die. Like you got to do it like it's a pay-per-view. Like you have to raise enough money.
Yeah, because we have to feed you. We have to take care of you while you're there.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we don't get money.
Yeah. 100%. Like, and it's like for me, like you would think I'd be terrified by that, but you know, I'd like to know my value. It's good to know what I'm worth. So hopefully, people will like keep that fat boy alive a little bit longer, give him some more crisps, and we'll see how we go.
Woo! That went dark very quickly.
Well,
Kayla's like, look at the time.
We've laid a lot of groundwork for your podcast now, guys. I'm glad I was able to contribute.
Maybe gave Kayla an idea or two for some future stories as well.
Kayla's like, guys, I'm canceling the YouTube, and also I'm not doing the episode.
You're like, you know what? I stopped. You guys just it was too much, and now I just can't.
Yeah. Oh man.
Alrighty, so we're going to talk about teen movies. We're not going to talk about nasty abduction movies, unless you've got a teen abduction film, in which case you're welcome to include it. So, Michael, you're going underrated? Is that what you're doing this time? Underrated teen films?
Yeah, I'm going to do underrated, although one movie I've already talked about is on that list because I don't hear enough people talk about it. So, other than that, everything else is pretty. And I have a feeling me and Kayla might have one movie that's the same. So, we'll see.
It's always nice when that happens.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Kayla, what we do, I didn't really brief you before the recording, but basically, we're just going to go through back and forth. Talk about a movie, and we'll kind of have a bit of chat about it. And any order is fine, but if you got it from 5 to 1, we'll go lowest ranked to top ranked, and just have a bit of fun with it. And but just a heads up, I may not have seen it. I don't do any prep work, as you guys know. I've made that abundantly clear. So if I haven't seen it, I'll just have less to say, but we can still definitely have fun with it. Michael will probably have seen everything on your list, I reckon, because he watches a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Maybe
more than me. I don't know. I'm like 250 for the year, I think. So
I'm pretty basic with mine, so I'm sure everyone's probably seen all of these.
I honestly thought Michael was flipping me off. I'm like, he's like, James, stop coming after me. Like, you're having fun, but leave me alone.
No, Alex just scared the living shit out of me. Oh my god. Okay, I'm so sorry.
that how you
Okay.
deal with being scared, is flipping people off?
that was after he was laughing at me,
Oh.
so I was like,
Okay, I thought that was like your reaction to being
Like
scared.
Michael wakes up in a saw trap. Ugh.
You see this jigsaw? Yeah.
But you're only doing that because you found out it was the agent. It wasn't Jigsaw. I can't remember his name now, but the one you hate, Costas Mandylor.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
That's why
I
you
think
flipped him
it's
off. If it was a man, he'd be cool with it. But
yeah, I'd be cool with Amanda. She's cool.
The what's his face?
it's not Strom. It's the other
Screw
guy.
that. Screw. I don't
It's
like whatever his name is.
he's just his face is annoying. His acting is terrible. I just don't like him. And he's in way too many movies for my liking, including Saw X. So I'm like, ew, why are you here? Why are you back?
Wait,
Anyway.
are you talking about the end credit scene?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Saw 10 was a perfect movie until we had to see his face on screen again. And then I said, ooh, it's getting dropped a point. It's going to a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10. So
I was going to say Saw 9 out of 10, so Saw 10 out of 10.
yeah, exactly.
I can't help myself. I'm so sorry. Okay.
His little
Every
dad
chance,
jokes.
every chance. Like, it's just relentless. Let's start with you, Kayla. You're the guest. It's your first time on the show. So what's number 5 on your list of top 5 teen movies?
Ooh, so I'm kind of still debating because I have 8 movies written down. I'm trying to decide. Some of these I haven't seen in a very long time,
That's okay.
but I think I'm going to put The Perks of Being a Wallflower at number
Nice.
5.
Talk to me
Yes.
about the perks of being a wallflower. I love this movie, so I'm right here with you.
Well, I read the book before I saw the movie. I heard that they were making it into a movie, so I ran out and grabbed the book. And so I'm trying to think how emotional to get into this or how personal.
It's up to you.
This movie probably came out around the time I was like 19.
Mhm.
Or at least that's the time I read the book anyway. And there was a line in there that just really sat with me because I was in a not so great relationship at that time. And The Perks of Being a Wallflower, I also related to the main character because he was very quiet in high school, didn't really have a lot of, I mean, I had my group of friends. I'm not gonna say I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a good like group, but I was never able to really like branch out outside of that. And so I'm trying to decide how to describe this movie because I'm not good at it. Michael, do you want to take over the synopsis part?
Oh, you don't have to talk about what it's about. Like,
Okay.
just what it means to you. Yeah, like
Oh
absolutely.
yeah. Well, I was very quiet. I was painfully shy to the point where if someone walked up to me and my friend and they didn't speak directly to me, a lot of times I couldn't even bring myself to say hi. Uh so I think a lot of people were, I know it seems like you're the only person in the world who's going through the I'm so different and nobody understands me, but I feel like a lot more people feel that way than you know, and I think the book really made me, and the movie when the movie came out, since we're talking about movies, made me feel not so alone in that. And so
Yeah.
that was why that movie was so special to me. And then there was a lot of struggling with not the greatest mental health, and it wasn't as like severe as his in there, but yeah, I don't
I
know.
I think it's a
Yeah.
great choice. So we talked. I think we talked about this when you were I think you talked about it previously, Michael. Like there are two, I think, perfectly brilliant moments in this film that really represent how we feel as teenagers. The first is when Ezra Miller blacks out and loses it and just like starts swinging, and starts the fight. I think it's in the cafeteria. So I don't know like about you guys, but I was a very angry young man. I think a lot of guys, apologies for our gender, but a lot of guys, especially when we're teenagers, we just don't know how to handle our emotions, and so it can become quite negative and destructive. And seeing that, especially someone who was on the victim end, just kind of finally letting loose and just letting his rage take control of him, I was like, wow, I've never hit a person in my life, but boy, like I relate to that so much. And it's
Mhm.
such a brutally honest moment in like a pretty dark film for teenagers. Like it's not, I don't know what it's rated in America, but in Australia it was like I think it was an M, which is kind of a PG-13. Like so, it's not aimed at adults purely. Like I thought it was pretty dark and earnest for for something that's going to be shown to high schoolers. Um, and the other moment I related to, not at the time because I was already married or I was in a relationship with the woman who would become my wife.
but the moment when they're sitting in the circle and they go kiss the prettiest girl in this room and it's not his girlfriend, I'm like, I think a lot of us can relate to either being in a relationship, especially with teenagers, and maybe we like the person we're with, but also in high school, I think you're kind of looking at a few people, and not because you're a scumbag or a horrible person, but just like hormones are flying everywhere. You kind of look around and see like, oh, who would be a good fit for me? Who do I like? And I think a lot of people go through that. And to see them not actually act on it was kind of
Yeah.
shocking for me. But I loved it. It was so honest. I'm like, I can be like, as a teenager, like I didn't date in high school. I was quite shy and kind of very much an in-betweener, like in high school. But I definitely would like, well, I like that girl. I might like that girl. And I was like, oh, is it weird that I am looking at more than one person? So I felt very seen in that moment as well, because I think when you are a teenager, you don't know how to process it. So you're just kind of like, well, they're attractive and they're funny and they're nice. So I really like that moment. That's why I think it's such a great film, because it's not afraid to take very big, honest swings for a teen film. So I think it's a good choice.
Yeah.
And might I
It's not
say it's
afraid to be
also like
messy.
yeah. And might I say it's perfectly cast too. Like Logan
Mhm.
Lerman as like the main character. Oh my gosh. Perfect.
Yeah.
Like I haven't read the book personally, so I don't have anything to go off as far as like what you imagine when you read the book, Kayla, but not reading the book but seeing the movie, I'm like, I don't think there's anyone who could have been in this movie that would be better than
Yeah.
like all these people that are in it. So
Yeah, I think I read the book when I knew that like as they were filming, so I already knew who the cast was at the time.
Mm.
But I think the most memorable quote from that movie is the one I think everyone talks about, which is "We accept the love we think we deserve." And I remember it's still I rewatched it like a month or so ago, and it still made me cry.
Oh, it makes me cry every time I watch it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and then I can't remember the exact line in there, but I know Logan Lerman's character was asking his dad, I think it was like for $50, and he's like, $20? What do you need $10 for? And that just like, I was like, if I ever have children and me or Andrew don't use that on them, I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
That's a really good pick. I think that I do like that line by the dad. I think my favorite teen movie dad might be, and I hope I'm not spoiling anyone's list, but the dad from Easy A. If it's on anyone's list, we'll come back to it. But Stanley Tucci in that role that's my role model for being a dad. I think he's amazing. Great first pick. I love that. Michael, what do you got for number 5?
So my number 5 is going to be a little well-known movie. It has Justin Long in it, so if there's any hints to what this movie might be, but it's Accepted. I
That's
love
a
this
good
movie.
one.
I've only seen it once, but I remember loving it. It's got a very young Jonah Hill in it.
Yeah.
But I remember
Ask
being a
me
fun
about
one.
my wiener.
Hey, ask me about my wiener. Yeah.
Can you quickly remind me what this one is about? They start their own fraternity? Does that, or their own university? I can't remember now.
So Justin Long's character is kind of, how do I say this nicely? He's kind of a loser. He really doesn't have like any direction. Like he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life. He's not very good in school. Like he's just kind of a slack off. Like he really hasn't done a whole lot to get him accepted into any colleges. So then he makes up his own college called I think it's the South Harmon Institute of Technology. And like Jonah Hill's character is like really good with like programming. Like he makes a website for it and all this stuff. And what he doesn't, so they end up like remodeling this abandoned insane asylum into like this small little college. And then what they don't realize is that they accidentally sent out actual acceptance letters. So then all these people show up. And so it's basically like him trying to, navigate that. And yeah, so I love this movie. I think it's not as serious in tone as Perks of Being a Wallflower, but it is fun. It does have some scenes where I'm like, oh, that's sad. Like there are some scenes in there that I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. Great cast, honestly. And as much flack as I give to Blake Lively nowadays with everything going on, we won't get into that. She's great in this movie. I really like her in this movie. I think she was perfectly cast. But yeah, it's just a fun movie. It's also a very easy watch. Like it's a movie that is very easy to watch. It's an easy like hour and a half. I mean, and I'm not saying that like as an insult or anything. It's not like it's like a brain rot type of movie where you could just sit there and turn your brain off.
No,
But I
sometimes
mean,
it's nice to sit down for 80 minutes and just watch something. Like it doesn't
But it
have to
is
be.
fun.
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
that's my number
completely
5.
forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
I love kind of pre-fame Justin Long, and not that I have my opinions have changed, but like obviously he was in Jeepers Creepers and he was in Dodgeball and stuff. Like there's a period of time where Justin Long was just kind of showing up in all these like little films, especially like in a lot of comedies, which I realized. And he's moved away from comedy a little bit lately. He's become more of a horror guy. But I'll just watch that guy
Yeah.
anything. I just think, but like young innocent Justin Long, like especially like Dodgeball, is just so funny to watch. He's like this scrawny little dude, and like kind of wimpy and stuff like that. Like you called him a loser before, like in Accepted. I think it's a fair comment. Like that's definitely kind of the characters he played. But then like what a transformation like that he took
Mhm.
away. Like now he's got this kind of like yeah, he's not doesn't have like a superhero physique, but he's this kind of like strong leading man, does like these weird like dark movies. And I just think he's one of like the coolest actors in Hollywood. I think he's someone that people don't pay a lot of attention to unless you're into genre. But I love Justin.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yeah.
great.
Not to
He's
be
also
a total girl, but I had the biggest crush on Justin Long, and I would watch everything that he was in when I was in high school.
girl, I still do. That man is aged like fine wine, and he is a hunk. And girl, anything that I will watch with Justin Long in it. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you on that, Kayla.
You know what I liked about Accepted? If he would have put half the effort that he put into creating this fake university into actually getting into applying to college later on, he could.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
He's also
ultimately, it does
sorry.
work out well for
It
him in the
does.
end.
It
So
does, yeah.
yeah.
He's also really good at playing a creep, and I know I should be like, ooh, like that makes him like less appealing in the movies, but I'm like, no, show me creepy Justin Long. I kind of like him playing a creep, like in Tusk, and I know you don't like Tusk,
Yeah,
Michael,
I have some feelings.
but I like him
I
in that, and
laughed.
I like him in Barbarian as well. Like I think he plays quite a
Me too.
compelling role in that.
Yeah, he was really good in Barbarian.
Oh, I think we might have lost
Can-
Michael for a second.
Yeah, I don't.
I
Can
thought
you
he was
guys?
very focused for a second, but now I can
Can
see
you
that
guys hear
he
me?
isn't.
We can hear
We
you.
can
Yeah.
hear you. Yeah.
What the? I don't know what just happened.
There you are.
It's because you insulted Tusk. I kicked you out. I
Uh-oh.
was like, no. This is maybe even a better freeze frame, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what is happening right now. Please don't do what you just did again.
There
Okay.
we go. All sorted.
All right.
Okay, it's all good.
Sorry. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know.
These things happen, man. It's all good. We had
Yeah.
some. We made fun of your screen freeze, and that was fun. Let's talk about Justin Long. So,
Well, I also have to say my all-time favorite Justin Long role, and this is a very small role, and James, you might know what I'm talking about, but it's when he's in The Breakup and he plays the
I
receptionist
still
at
haven't seen
the
Breakup.
Marilyn Dean Art Gallery, and he's like, "Happy holidays, Marilyn Dean Gallery. Happy holidays." And then Jennifer Aniston comes up to him and she's like, is it a holiday?" And he's like, she's like, "When's the next holiday?" And he's like, "Well, there's there's Memorial Day, there's Father's Day. Some celebrate that. I don't." He's just so great in that movie. Like it's a small bit part for him, but he is fantastic.
Yeah, I still haven't seen The Breakup. I know you talked about it, and like every movie on your list when we did our rom coms, I do want to go back and watch. Just haven't had a chance to. I thought you were going to say his appearance in Zack and Miri Make a Porno, where he plays Brandy, the
That too.
monster. That's oh man, he's really funny in that. That's probably the funniest part of the movie for me. Like just his 5 minutes in there.
Yeah.
And I just bought Glenn Ross on Blu-ray yesterday, so I was immediately thinking about that line as well, which I'll keep censored for the listeners because it's pretty explicit. But I'm glad we just got to talk about Justin Long.
Me too.
Kayla, what's number 4 on your list?
Oh goodness.
You've had all this time to think.
Oh, I have had all this time to think. That's the bad part. I am going to throw this.
Have you ever had
What was
sorry. I was just gonna that video I sent you, Kayla, the other day. Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme? Yeah. Is it crispy? No. So it's not crispy? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That video, I'll have to send it to you, James, but it's basically the caption of it was when you're an introvert trying to have a conversation with someone, it's some older woman and someone's filming her and she just randomly looks at the girl filming her and she's like, "Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme?" And the girl's like, "Yeah." And then the old woman's like, "Are they crispy?" And the girl's like, "No." And she's like, "Yeah, Yeah. And then the conversation just ends.
That
It's
would
one
be
of the
me
greatest
if
videos I've ever
Michael
seen.
weren't with me on the podcast. If I had anyone else, it would be Mike. That would be me. Oh no, Michael's frozen again.
God damn it. What is going on today? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, what the fuck?
Kayla's
I'm
just
starting to
sitting
get
there.
irritated now.
Kayla's
I
just sitting there
think
on the podcast. How many trees are there in One Tree Hill? Actually, let's count them.
There's only one, James.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I'm gonna lose my.
oh,
Can you hear
I'm
me?
wanting.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we
do you
can
want,
hear you.
Do you want to turn your camera off? It might help. I don't know.
I'm about to lose my, and this is also why I don't use Zoom. So,
Oh.
Zoom doesn't
but
like you.
apparently not. All right. So sorry. Continue. But
I think I'm actually going to stray away from Donnie Darko just because I'm trying to find like the actual more like legit teen movie, but if you want to go by what most people's definitions are. So I'm gonna stray away from that, but no,
It's what you are,
that's
man.
a
It's
good one.
your list. Yeah.
If I'm thinking like what I think of when I think a teen movie, I think this one fits more, and I haven't seen this in years, but I used to watch A Walk to Remember all the time.
Yeah.
The
The great one.
trailer. Yeah. I just remember the trailer. Landon Carter was going nowhere fast.
Come on, keep going, Kayla.
What's her name? Jamie Sullivan?
Yeah.
Jamie Sullivan knew exactly who she was. It's so and then she's just like, I don't know, the little putting together, like now we just have photos if people are gonna try to blackmail you for certain things or show certain images, and it's just like the most obvious like cut and paste like Photoshop of, I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but
I do. Yeah.
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 I think I still remember this. Spoiler alert for those who have not seen A Walk to Remember, but at this point it's just I guess your fault because you've had so long.
So for 20
It's been
years old.
20
So
years, guys. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
I remember my sister watched it before I did, and I really wanted to see it. I was really young, and I was like, "Oh, I want to see it." And she's like, "She dies in the end." And I was like,
Whoa, that's not cool.
you're
I was like,
thanks.
"Why? Why would you do that?" So I had the ending spoiled
That's
for
a
me before I
pretty big
watched it.
spoiler, yeah.
Yeah. Generational trauma.
I'm just
Bringing
like,
Jamie Lee Curtis into it. Jamie Lee, a generational trauma.
Oh, so you just reminded me of another movie that I wanted to have on there at some point, but now I'm just like, there were just too many that I was like, let me just pick the ones that I remember watching the most.
Oh, the format is not fair. Like, it's a very cruel device. Pick 5 out of all the movies in the world. So don't worry, you're feeling what everyone feels. I really like A Walk to Remember. I remember this is one of the few rom-coms or kind of teen movies or like kind of romance films I watched when I was a teenager because it was not my thing at all. But I remember I was at a friend's house and she was obsessed with, is it Shane West? He's the dude, isn't he? Yeah, still
Yeah.
remember that name. Talk about generational trauma. She was obsessed with him. And I was like, I don't know, man, like this goofy guy and like the Mandy Moore movie, seems like dumb. That was my initial review without watching it. And even when she gives the line, like, which is meant to be kind of like the catalyst for everything that happens, she's like, don't fall in love with me. I still remember that. I was like, my reaction was the same as his. Holy Christ, I fall in love with her in that movie. And I was like, oh my God, like that ending. Spoilers for 20-year-old movie, guys. But as Kayla and her sister let us know, she does die. It's a great little love story. It works, it plays a lot of the tropes, but I think it works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I remember this end credits song. I used to listen to that song all the time, Cry. I haven't heard that
Yeah.
song in years, and then her singing in the school play, which is Mandy Moore's just got a beautiful voice.
She does. I want to see her in more movies again, honestly,
Yeah.
because she's a great actress.
Yeah, it took me a long time to realize that she was Rapunzel in Tangled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that's probably in my top 5 favorite like Disney animated films of all time. Like it's really fun and badass, and she does a great role. But yeah, she's awesome. I was a big Mandy Moore fan growing up. Like she was like one of those pop stars where I was like, oh, kind of like she's not doesn't seem as kind of cookie cutter as some of the other ones. Like I grew up in the Britney and Christina era,
but I
Mhm.
felt Mandy Moore's was a little bit different. I did go back and listen to those songs recently. They don't hold up for me. I don't know if I'm still a fan, but in my pocket is a tough song to get through. Like,
Well, I'm giving you a look right now because how dare you say that Britney Spears is cookie cutter? Okay.
she's not. She's not. Like, she was kind of like the first like big pop, kind of pop star of our generation and stuff like that. Like, she did change the game, but I think like now when people think about generic pop, people would jump to her first, but she did it before
Yeah.
everyone else as well. So yeah,
No, I'm
she's
just
the
giving
Blair
you
Witch.
shit.
I know she's the Blair Witch Project to all other found footage. Like, people criticize it now, but it was the first one.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's the only time anyone's ever compared Blair Witch Project to Britney Spears.
Yeah.
I totally took over your discussion of your movie, Kayla. I'm so sorry. Was there anything else you want to add about Walk to Remember? I think it's a wonderful little flick.
Oh no, that's fine. But now because Britney Spears' name was mentioned, I have the line, what is it? Oh my God, that Britney Shameless from what song is it? Stuck in my head?
Circus? No.
No, it's oh, Piece of Me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So now that's just like on repeat in my head right now.
Nice. Did
It's a
you
good
know it
song.
took me, do you know it took me over almost 20 years for me to realize that If You Seek Amy
I knew
was
you were gonna
her
say
saying
it.
F-U-C-K me. And one day I was just listening into the car because my question about that song, I was always like, who's Amy? I was like, who the fuck is Amy? And then I started really listening to it, and I kind of listened to it a couple more times, and I was like, whoa, hold on a second. Yeah.
I will say, because you know I'm a fan of wordplay and puns, Michael. And you might have picked up on that by now as well, Kayla. It's a stretch in that song. Like, she clearly wants to make it work, but it's very forced.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this song.
It's
She's like, love me, hate me, say what you want about me. All of the boys and all of the girls
Oh,
are something
okay.
if you seek Amy. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it is convoluted, but
Yeah.
she's trying to shed that good girl image. So
Also, don't mind my terrible voice when I was just singing that, but
no, you're an absolute gem, Michael. Don't do that to yourself, man. Sing more for us. It's
so you're
definitely
saying I
been
should go on
sarcastic,
American
but
Idol then?
yes, do it.
All my friends at home tell me I'm really good. So I'm here to sing my rendition of If You Seek Amy.
Make sure to cover one ear while you do it. Just like
Yeah, and
where I go.
you got to check the levels with your hands. Like, make sure
Yeah.
the Christina level check.
Oh my
Um,
God. Oh, man.
Michael, what is number 4 on your list?
So, just a little hint at what my number 4 is. You actually brought it up just pretty recently, James, and it's Easy A.
I love AZA.
Yeah, me too. Another one that's kind of more fun in aspect, but also it does like tackle some issue, like more serious tones in certain
Definitely.
parts of the movie. But I mean, I'm a huge Emma Stone fan all the way. I'm 100%. I love Emma Stone and pretty much everything she's in. I've never seen a movie with Emma Stone that I'm like, oh, I didn't like her in that. She's so good in this movie. And it's basically about a girl who she she's basically labeled a school tramp after she pretends to have sex with a guy because he's secretly gay and he wants people to think that he's straight. So then she pretends to fuck him, and then everyone at school starts to talk about her, and she starts to kind of own it a little bit. So she starts making all these outfits that have the A embroidered on it. And it's just so great. It's a fun movie. Like, there's a fun cast. And this is also kind of a bittersweet movie because this is a movie that also has Amanda Bynes in it. And I remember her talking heavily about how much she hated her role in this movie. And I'm like, you were so good in this movie. It's doing it again.
Oh no. Justice is about to talk about Amanda Bynes. It's the important
Yeah.
I
think I'm just gonna leave my I think I might just leave my camera off for a while and see if that
cool.
does anything. Clearly it doesn't because it just did it again. So I don't know if it's something on my end. I don't know if it's like my headphones aren't plugged in correctly or something. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you. Absolutely.
Sorry, this is really annoying. I hate that you're gonna have to edit all this out, James. I apologize in advance.
I don't edit my podcast, Michael. This is
oh, fun. Lovely. But yeah, no, I mean this movie is great, but it also kind of makes me sad because this is like when Amanda Bynes really kind of started to go downhill a little bit.
And you
this
can
is a
see
movie.
it. You can see it in the movie. Like she doesn't look like a year before she was in Hairspray, and that was like prime Amanda Bynes. Like just in terms of like where she was in her career, and she's so funny in Hairspray. Like she's amazing in that. And you can see like she was under something similar to Britney, wasn't she? It was like a conservatorship or something. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's such a tragedy because she's so talented, so funny, and like joyous to watch. And you can tell like she doesn't mind being like the dork on screen. Like she can play it all. And I agree with you. I think she's excellent in this movie. Like she plays it really well. She really owns it. And it is. I'm glad we got this before. She kind of was able to give this performance, but it is, one of those Hollywood tragedies. It's like, man, like she just gave everything in every performance, and now we don't get any of that anymore, and she doesn't get to do it.
Yeah.
It's a real shame.
Yeah.
She was so talented.
She was, and I miss
I'm
seeing
sure she
her on
probably
screen.
still is, but she's just not doing anything. But
yeah, we should talk about. She's not dead. It's like
no, she's not dead.
But
no,
she had without getting too much into it, like she's always had some troubles and stuff like that, and it's kind of caused her to go down a different path. And it seems like she was kind of maybe damaging herself a little bit in her reputation, and like not that a reputation matters in Hollywood because everyone's got one, but just doing things maybe that weren't best choices for her where she was and stuff like that. But it sounds like she is doing better, and I hope she is, because even if she wasn't
I hope so.
the wonderful Amanda Bynes that she was, like she's a human being, guys. Like don't let Hollywood screw them all up.
Yeah, and also, I mean, on a lighter note, we also have our hunk
let's do it
Penn
quickly, bring it up.
Badgley. Yeah,
Penn Badgley, yes, I was just talking about him today.
Yes, me and Kayla had a conversation about him before we hopped on here, and I do like Penn Badgley. He is a fine man. So yeah, he's beautiful. Love him.
He really is.
And he's in it. Is it? I want to say Patricia. Oh my god, who plays the mum? Stanley Tucci is the dad, as I mentioned before. I love Stanley Tucci. That's Patricia. Oh, I can't remember her name, but it'll come to me.
I don't remember her name, but isn't Lisa Kudrow in there too?
Lisa Kudrow.
Yeah, she plays the principal.
Oh.
Who would you believe? Who would you believe?
Yeah. You got Cam Gigandit, who was in the Twilight films, or the first Twilight film at least, where he's the older guy who can't graduate.
Yeah. He's also in that terrible movie, The Roommate, with Leighton Meester, and I forget who the other girl is, but yeah.
It's the one that looks exactly like her. She's
Minka Kelly?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Quite like I don't mind it. Like I'm just gonna say I don't think it's awful.
It's really not that bad. Like I said, it's one of those movies that you can put on and it's digestible and you can watch it, and it's like an hour and a half, but there are certain things that I'm like, oh, that's not, it would have been, and that's the thing about certain movies, not to go off on another tangent, but certain movies I think should have an R rating, and the fact that they're rated PG-13 really takes away a lot of its potential, because I think The Roommate could have been a lot darker than it was, because there are certain things that like Leighton Meester's character in that movie goes to some dark places in that movie, and I think if it was rated R, it would have been a lot more disturbing, because like there's scenes where she's like self-harming, trigger alert for people. There's self-harm in there, and it's pretty graphic for the most part with some of the stuff they show, and then like just her trying to imitate her in that movie, it's really, really disturbing on a different level. So
totally, that film feels like it's trying to be Basic Instinct, but then they're like, we'll just censor it completely. I'm like, well, then that's the point. My biggest problem with that film is that she's meant to be a fashion student, and every hat she wears I hate.
But fedoras were like really big back in the early 2000s, so I mean, I buy it kind of.
It's 2008 or 2011. Like, it's not early.
I just can't watch that movie. I watched it again a few years ago, completely forgetting a part about a kitten. And
oh yeah.
So now that I remember that that's there, I just can't ever watch it again. It's like I can watch so many things, but animals, I'm like,
it's tough,
yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, sorry, that was a tangent, but
no, you're good.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying not to be rude. It's just like I said, I had people coming, and like I think they're wondering how much more time we have. So I'm not being rude being on my phone. I'm literally trying to answer them so we don't interrupt.
We can move things a bit quicker. That's totally fine. But I love Easy. I rewatched it before I came overseas, and that flick just It holds up, man. And it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like Emma Stone hadn't been in it. 2 years before, Emma Stone made her debut. Like she kind of was in Superbad. That was her first real movie. And like then
Yeah.
like only a few years later, she's winning Oscars. Now she's two Oscars deep already. Like it's crazy.
Was your
Yeah.
world turned upside down when you heard Emily Stone?
Yes. I was like,
A
what?
little bit, yeah. A little bit,
Yeah.
I
I
was
was
like,
like,
my
huh?
entire life has been a lie.
yeah.
I was like, who's Emily Stone? I don't know that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, no, I love Easy A. I think it's a really fun movie. And it's also a movie that's very nostalgic to me because I believe, a junior in high school when that came out. And that's a movie that a group of my friends in high school, we would watch that movie almost every day. Like we would come home from school and like we would hang out and we put that movie on and we would quote it like nonstop. And so it's just a movie that I watch that's like when I watch it, it brings me right back to 2010 when it came out. And I'm like, oh, I sometimes miss those times when it was simpler, when
Mm.
life was a little bit more simple, you know?
That's when what's her name? Allie? Is it Machaka?
Ali Mashaka, yeah.
Yeah, like do you remember when she was like kind of a big deal a little bit?
Yeah.
And now I never hear
Yep.
about her anymore. I don't think I heard anyone mention her name, so I wanted to if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did,
And then
I
she's also in The
had
Roommate,
memory.
so
Yeah, she is. That's
yep,
true. Yeah.
yep. So
I'm
she
really
kind of had
sorry,
a little
guys.
rise in fame and do what?
I have to pause my recording. My daughter's just woken up. It's 1 in the morning, so I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
That's actually fine. I'm gonna use the bathroom really quick. So
I'm gonna go feed my dogs, so
Alrighty, so we just pause quickly. This is a bit of a weird thing. It's never happened on the podcast before. But we have to end the episode early, which I'm really sorry to do to the listeners and to my lovely guests. As the listeners know, I'm currently in Scotland and my daughter's had a nightmare. So I'm going to go do the dad thing and wrap things up, which is a bit of a shame because obviously we're having so much fun. But we will get Michael back on the show again soon, I'm sure. And Kayla, of course, you're welcome back as well. I do apologize, a bit of a weird one to have it like this abruptly. But the most important thing was talking about your podcast, and I think we really did, kind of sell that and celebrate that. So before we do wrap things up this evening, do you guys want to plug the show? Where can they find it? Where can they listen to it? Where can they follow in your socials? Let's get that done for sure.
okay. Kayla, do you want me to do it or do you want to do it?
um if I forget something, I know our Instagram is an Unkindness of Ravens pod
Mhm.
with
Yeah.
underscores in between each word, and then TikTok is an Unkindness of Ravens with is there pod at the end of that?
Let me double check. You know what? Like I said, I should have done all the names exactly the same, but for some reason, I like to make things complicated for myself and my co-host Kayla. So, oh, it's just an unkindness of Ravens. Sorry.
And
Yeah.
an Unkindness of Ravens with periods in between each word for TikTok. And then
Yes.
obviously on Spotify we are an Unkindness of Ravens.
Are you guys
Yeah.
on just on Spotify at the moment?
We're trying to figure out the whole because it's been like almost 5 years since I started mine, so I'm like very unfamiliar of how I like link all my podcasts with other things now. So I'm like, ooh. So we're trying to figure that out. But right now we're just exclusively on Spotify, but we will, I mean, at some point be streaming everywhere. So yeah.
Nice one. And Kayla, look, we got a shout out as well. Your Taylor Swift project, your Taylor Swift horror stories. Where can they find those again on YouTube?
That is Stories by Kayla.
Excellent.
And then your
Thank you.
Instagram, Kayla.
Oh, you
Oh,
too
my
as well.
Instagram. Kayla D Writes.
Excellent. Fantastic. And of course, guys, you can also listen to Michael on We Love Horror as well. I know there's been a bit of a hiatus, but he did a really cool episode back in January with myself and Kyle, who's also been on the show. And there's a wealth of wonderful episodes there as well. So thank you both again for coming on. It was such a joy to be able to celebrate this with you guys. I'm really excited about this new show. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. Obviously, I've been pumping it pretty much since we started, but I think you're onto something really cool, and I can't wait to hear what people think about it as well.
Thank you,
Thank
James.
you.
This was so much fun.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Excellent. I'm not going to plug any of my stuff today because it's all about you guys. So you can follow me on Instagram, guys. That's the only plug I'll do. I was a teenage film star with underscores between every single word. But otherwise, thank you again to Michael and Kayla for coming on the show. Apologies to everyone for cutting it short. Definitely catch up all together again soon. And as I say every week on the show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.